G'day everyone, how you doing? Bit of a funny one, left my light on, that's why my head's a bit yellow. We'll turn that off in a second. Just discovered a video and we thought that we'd watch it. Sometimes I sit here late at night going through these videos, doing my open source intelligent investigations. And then every now and again I think, why don't I share the love? Why don't I go through a video and scrutinize it live, which is quite funny. So what we've got a couple of screens set up. This is Christopher Diego, and it's a podcast that we found that he's been in just in the last couple of days. So we're going to go through that step by step. And what we've done is we have the Avengers standing by, and we've got a Google Doc open in the background, which you'll never see, unfortunately. But we have transcribed the whole video text. And what we do here is we actually look for claims, things that they can't back up and things like that. So if you spot any while you're listening to this video with me, then put them in the chat room and we will make it more exciting. So we're going to get into it. It's quite a long video. I don't want to spend the whole day doing this, but we are going to press play and we are going to listen. What I like to do, though, is I bring up my, I've already got it on, my Ponzi Patrol label. It's always a bit exciting. And we will get stuck into it. Now, I'm not going to do the intro because that was a bit boring and there was some sort of music. I don't know why.
How often that happened when you pray for
one of the biggest. Okay, so we'll get rid of all the fancy music intro stuff and we'll go straight into it, probably from about here, I think.
Where you come from a trailer park.
There he goes. I'll hold it. We'll just bypass all this rubbish. We don't need to see all the glitz and the glamour and the wonderful lifestyle you'll have if you invest with Chris. And here he is. Oh, looks like he's going to give us a kiss. That's good. All right, well, I'll start this and I'll go turn my light out so I look better on camera. And away we go.
Welcome to another episode of the Stroke of Success podcast. It's your favorite host, KB. Today's guest is someone real special. Someone I've been after for a few months now. And this gentleman here is the rare gem here in Central Florida.
A rare gem. Wow.
I interviewed a lot of his directors, his team members from his team, and they had nothing amazing to say about the gentleman in front of me. The mayor,
nothing but amazing.
Mayor Sanjay of Orlando, Florida. Me and him had a bunch of conversations, and again, an amazing individual. His story starts from not much. That's right.
You got that right.
He's the CEO and founder of Goliath Ventures. Chris, welcome.
Thank you for having me, KB.
My friend, it's been an interesting ride so far. You have to admit I don't give up.
Very true. Yeah, resilience is very much part of my vocabulary.
I love it. A lot of my guests, they'll say that, like, hey, man, like, you didn't give up. Like, that's amazing. You get annoying sometimes, but you don't give up. And by the way, it's not with all the guests. My friend, when I heard your story, I just zoned into it. I'm like, I have to have this gentleman on my podcast for a few reasons. Of course, age of success you have come up with, right? But besides that, my friend, not one person, and I do my research. My team does a lot of research. We call people. We go on Google. We go on every platform out there. And not one individual came back negative. Not one piece of information came back that,
obviously not talking to the same people I talk to.
Like this or like that. So for me, that holds a lot of value, especially for my audience. I don't know if I told you, the reason I came up with this platform, I had a stroke years ago, almost took my life, lost everything, made a comeback, entrepreneurship, podcast, media, self-development. So I like to align myself with gentlemen, men and women.
We can all do that, can't we?
Values. So once again, thank you for jumping on. Chris, how's it going, my friend?
Doing well, and thank you for those kind words. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. We were at the same place at the gala.
Hello, Susie.
And I think you were just walking out. I was passing you by. I wanted to meet you, and the buzz was that Chris is getting his people and jumping in a private jet and going to New York City.
Yeah.
How was that?
No, it was awesome. So, yeah, we were the title sponsor this year at Runway to Hope, which is an amazing charity that we support. And in all that, too, as well, like you said earlier, I'm very busy. We have a lot of partners. We have a lot of employees that I like to spend a lot of time with. So we had already pre-planned a trip to New York that Sunday for a couple special of our employees and partners in our company, and I dedicated myself to be there. And so with that came with leaving the charity event a little early, to then take a flight to New York City to spend Sunday with them.
You're going to love.
Wow. Chris, you just shared with me where you come from.
I'm originally from California. I'm first generation Mexican American. My mom was born in Aguascalientes, Mexico.
Okay.
She came over here in her early teens and had me and my older brother pretty early. And we grew up in a trailer park in Fontana, California.
You're gonna love this on this podcast.
Let's unpack that. I'm just gonna draw a picture for y'all. There was a whole buzz. I'm just gathered like, okay, Chris is gone. Going on social media. I follow him very closely. The private jet. The next day, the New York City hotels. You see the celebrities. You see Patrick Bet-David standing next to you at the Yankee Stadium. But you come from a trailer park.
Yeah, it's actually, sometimes I look back at myself and I look at the things that I've been able to do and accomplish and where I'm at in life and who is in my circle and who I can call as friends. And I amaze myself. But I think a lot of that comes with opportunity. A lot of that comes with risk taking. I don't think people really understand the amount of risks that I took early on in my life. Not only my corporate
sure we
career,
do, mate. We
but
know what you're
also
taking
even
now.
with my current company.
I think I've got a
And
sound
what
that
I was
I'm trying
willing
to play.
do and what I was willing to lose to get to this part.
Makes me, like, I come from a one-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, New York, 800 square foot. And that's my story right now. I like to show that off. But trailer park, my friend. Let's go back in the day. I want to take my audience there. You wake up in the morning, single mom, 2 brothers. What's your mom doing for a living?
So my mom worked for General Dynamics, and which is kind of funny. She actually used to make the shell casings for missiles long time ago when they were based out of the Inland Empire, San Bernardino County in California. And so, I mean, I have early childhood memories. My aunt lived across the street with my cousins. In a trailer park, it's one trailer here, then you have a little street, then another trailer here. And so what I remember growing up is playing a lot with my cousins, growing up with them. And it's funny enough, my aunt was in, her boyfriend at the time was in the trucking industry, who introduced my mom to my current stepdad.
Did you feel poor? I mean, I know people probably look at you, but did you say, man, we have no money?
No, even also in my teenage years, we're single family income. Years later, my stepdad and my mom got married, and I call him my dad because I didn't meet my real dad till I was almost 21. So when I say stepdad, in respect to him, it's my dad. But even we're single family. He's a truck driver. And even in my early teenage years and late teenage years and growing up, I didn't feel poor, ever felt like we were poor. I just felt like this was life. This was just growing up. There was never a monetary value. I would recognize, friends or people that I went to school with that had nicer things, drove Mercedes, and could never fathom, like, wow, like how does my family get there? It was never that kind of, I guess, analyzing that. It was more so just like, this is how I'm growing up.
There's
Okay.
a lot of trauma. It depends on the person, right? Some people will take that story and go do drugs, go drink alcohol. You
Sounds
did
like
something
Chris.
else with your life. Let's go back a second. Your dad, your
Just my
biological
opinion,
dad,
guys.
he wasn't in your life till 21. What age were you when you realized that?
That's a great question, actually. Funny enough, my stepdad, who I call my dad, looks nothing like me. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and but growing up, you never put 2 and 2 together. I didn't realize till I think almost the 8th grade that he wasn't my real dad. Maybe like 6th, 7th grade, and the only reason that I found out that there was another person. And it was just a realization. Obviously you can see and you can tell and stuff like that, but like an actual mental realization that like, wait, this is, there's someone else out there. Wasn't until there's an 8th grade field trip to New York City. And at that time, again, single family household income. My dad was a truck driver, made $36,000 a year. There was a trip they were planning to New York City, Washington, D.C. for a history class that I wanted to go. And my mom was like, you better pray hard because there's no way we can afford this trip. And it was like $1,700. A week later, we started getting child support checks, which I had never received before. And it was just kind of perfect timing, not only that I could go on the trip, because then my mom used that money to pay for the trip, which only $2,200 came. So $1,700 paid for the trip, and then $500, which my mom, I think, gave me like $200 that I could spend. But that was the realization that there was another person out there that was my biological father.
What do you feel, man?
In the moment, you kind of feel a little lost, to be honest with you. You kind of feel like there's another piece of you that you don't know. And it's kind of a weird... And so my older brother, too, you know, we have 3 different dads. And my older brother's dad is in Mexico somewhere. And but there's never been a story or an article or anything about him. For me, I had a realization where I see this person's name who created me. So you kind of feel like there's a part of you missing because you need to know who that person is, or you know, do you think like them? Do you look like them? All that kind of thing, which the crazy part too is my high school graduation photo looks identical to my biological father. So it's kind of crazy that was an aspect to me that I didn't know.
You ever drink or drugs?
No. So,
What?
I mean, I social drink.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh,
But in
I
that
was going to
time
say,
frame,
drinks like a bloody fish.
growing up in poverty, not knowing your real fact, you found out that your dad's someone else. People that young of an age would turn to drugs to numb the pain. You didn't do that.
I turned to structure.
Yeah, I do drugs all the time.
actually.
What do you expect him he's
I
going to
knew
say?
I wanted to be a police officer early on,
Oh, he's already got one of those.
and I was
Doesn't it work?
terrified
Hey, Tom.
of going through the background investigation and having to admit to doing drugs, whether it's marijuana or and for your audience today, marijuana in California at that time was like basically carrying cocaine,
100%.
or heroin or any other, you know, Schedule I narcotic. So it wasn't like it is today where you can smoke weed. You can smoke weed in a state that doesn't allow marijuana, but the cop's not going to do anything about it. At that time growing up, it was a really big deal. But for me, no, I looked for structure. And some would say some people turn to drugs and alcohol, or some people look for a father figure in their life. And I felt like that group, becoming an explorer, I did a year internship for San Bernardino County Sheriff. I felt like that was my way of getting mentorship, having father figures in my life, having structure, and kind of building that piece that I needed back in
The
me.
force is strong with this one.
Would you say that structure was what it made you the person you are today?
I think the drive.
The drive came from there.
I think the drive. I think
Brum,
that's where the
brum,
drive
brum.
came from. I think it
Is he
came
talking about
from,
when he revs
I
up his
never
Lamborghini
wanted
outside a
to
fundraising
be
event?
anything like my real
Be?
dad.
Could be.
And not that there's anything wrong with him, and there's not that there's anything I feel like he did wrong to me. He was young, he was stupid, he made a mistake. I was that mistake. But I felt like I needed to prove to the world that I wasn't excuse me. And in doing that, there's a drive and a fire in
Oh,
you
really?
that comes from
You can
that.
do better than that, mate.
And
This one here's what you want. That
I
one
think that's what brought that out, and that's what made
is
me
better. Make sure
so
you subscribe.
focused and
It's got
dedicated
300 views so far.
and being committed.
Hey, let's
and
see if
in
we can
that
get
too,
more. Okay.
you know, being a father as well. He was an absent father, and I'm a very present father.
I
So
see
I think
that.
I think a lot of good came out of that scenario. That's why I don't fault him like most people would, and say, you know, my father wasn't there. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. I'm kind of thankful because I'm everything that he's not.
You a good student growing up?
Most people don't know this, but I'm a nerd. I graduated third of my class. And I actually just gave the graduation high school speech at my old high school. So that was pretty exciting and an honor.
We'll verify that.
Meet someone there from back in the day? Anyone? No, probably not.
So one of my old teachers still works. Her name's Amy. Still works there. I was at a previous high school. I was more of a military high school called Summit Leadership Academy. And they're the ones that got me into the internship for San Bernardino County Sheriff. She was a teacher.
It's a really good story,
she
Chris.
left, and then I followed the year after. And so when I went back a couple weeks ago, she was there.
What'd she say? Look, saw your success.
She was. It was kind of a surreal moment because I have a family now. I have kids, and I brought them with me, and so she got to meet them and kind of just see, this kid who she hasn't seen in 16 years or almost 17 years now has, a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old little girl. So it was kind of a surreal moment for her. It was a surreal moment for me, just to kind of be back in my old town.
Does she know about the jet? Does she know about the Bentley, the Rolls, the toys?
I don't think people. Yes, they knew because they were asking me where I was flying into, and I was like, Apple Valley.
Yes,
has an executive airport.
Exactly.
And they were just like,
oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that is or how you get there, but you know, I think there's a realization. But I don't think people really understand or know, or realize that, those kind of things. You see them, you see celebrities drive them, but when a friend or someone has, a jet or a nice car or this or that, it's hard to kind of fathom that. Even my own parents don't fathom kind of even the life that they live or that they've been provided.
Where do they live now?
They live here in Orlando. Yeah. I moved them here about 3 years ago, bought them a house, bought my dad a brand new truck, and bought my mom a Mercedes.
Still got a mortgage on it,
and,
we think.
Now they are everything that I didn't have growing up, in the means that everyone wants to give their kids something that they didn't have. I didn't have grandparents. And now my kids have full-time grandparents who, they love and adore them. They have a great relationship. So it makes me very happy that they're here.
That's awesome. Wow. Just getting started. My stories are getting started. We're going to dig in more. You okay, Chris, so far?
We're good. Yeah, we're
I think
good.
I touched on some hardcore stuff, man. Don't mind me. That's what I do, man.
No,
Just,
go for it. I'm an open book. That's why I'm here, right?
Oh, boy. You went to college?
No. Just graduated high school diploma.
What'd you do after that, man?
So during high school, a month after I turned
This is
16,
so fake. I'm
at
sorry.
my very first job,
It's hard to
I
watch
worked
this
for
alone,
Cinemark
hence
in
why I
the
needed
Mall
the
of Victor
company.
Valley, which I think is the perfect job for every 16-year-old, and it was a perfect job for me.
Why?
Because not only was I like super popular and known in high school, and just because I played sports and this, that.
Fake,
but
I'm
at my
sorry.
Friday night movie theater, Saturday night movie theater, all the girls
I'll
want to
put
come,
up a poll.
to the mall. And that's when the malls were like, that's where you go to hang out, especially on the weekend, especially when you're 16, you got nothing else to do. So it was nice working in the movie theater and just, allowing all the pretty girls to go watch movies for free, or getting them free popcorn or candy or whatever it was. Yeah.
I don't know, I'm taking it maybe a bit of a ladies' man back then.
Yeah. I like to think that I was a good looking guy,
Yeah.
Or still am a good looking guy.
You are.
Yep.
And
That
what
do they call that?
Maybe that's why I was popular.
Lipo?
And you probably know
They do
to
to
talk.
to get rid
You're
of all
a
the
good
fat.
speaker, so I can maybe
It works
that was
well.
a way to communicate as well.
Yeah, I've always gotten compliment on how I communicate, and something too that I realized early on was my God-given gift was that people are attracted to me.
Wow.
And people just naturally gravitate towards me. Even when I moved to Orlando,
I
and
think
didn't
we've
really
seen the
know
shorts
anyone,
to this. So this
it
is
just, my
actually
circle of influence started growing,
being chopped
just
up and put
so
around social
natural.
media for quite a while.
So it's definitely something that helped me in high school. It helped me very much in my careers, and has definitely helped
So
me
like-
in my company.
Gandhi, isn't he?
Okay, so after high school, where'd you go?
So I started my first job at the movie theater, and then I worked there for a year and a half, almost 2 years, and then in I think it was, trying to think. No, I was still in high school when I worked for the movie theater, and in February of 09.
Don't forget
'cause I
to tell them about the
graduated
flipping
09, so
hamburgers.
February 09, I worked for In-N-Out Burger,
Oh,
and when I graduated high school, I still worked
Look
for
at that.
them, and I worked for them for almost 8
Timing.
years.
Okay, how old when you left In-N-Out Burger?
In-N-Out Burger,
25?
I left, I would say, if I started at 17,
Yeah, 25, 26?
no, I think 24.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was shy of 8 years. I think, yeah.
So, okay, 24 you left. Okay, this is the age most people are going to college.
Yeah.
Being done with college. They're getting their first jobs.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
Chris.
In-N-Out Burger.
I'm at In-N-Out Burger. Now I'm at In-N-Out Burger, but I'm in the corporate office.
Okay,
Yeah.
that department. Okay.
Oh,
What did you
see,
learn from that corporate job?
flip burgers?
Communication, teamwork, leadership. Leadership was actually probably the biggest thing. Leadership and perception. Perception
If you
of
used to
peers
work with Chris
was the biggest
and you would
thing.
like
I
to
stepped
contact
into a
us, please go to
department that
theheck.com
I knew nothing about marketing
and
I knew
let us
nothing
know
about
what
events,
your experience was
and
when
I stepped
working
into a
with Chris at
department
In-N-Out
of
Burger. We would love
26
to hear from
women.
you.
And just because those in the corporate world, those departments are mostly women, and they all had degrees, bachelor's degrees, some going for their master's.
Do you mean he used to work with women in In-N-Out Burgers, flip whatever, and he learnt communication? Well, he is really good. So he knows how to communicate with women. Is that what I'm hearing?
Some had their master's.
That's pretty cool.
And to step into that department and be young and not have a degree or really manage anyone with a higher education, I think that was a hard part to learn. But in doing that, I remember my director at the time said, if you change the perception of your peers and they learn to respect you, then it'll be easy to lead them.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Wow.
So that's a big lesson you learned.
Big
It was a
lesson.
very big lesson. It showed me the way you carry yourself, the way you talk. We might have friendly conversation, and that's fine, but in general, how people look at you or perceive you is it's either good or it's bad.
Yeah.
There's not really an in between.
Sure.
And especially when you want to build a team or lead people, you need to have a strong perception about you. You need to be a strong leadership aspect to you, and if you want people to respect you, especially if you don't have an education or experience that they may have, it's an uphill battle.
Hey, Earl,
So
nice
it
to
was
see
a
you here.
massive lesson that I learned, and something that I'm truly grateful of.
Before I
I
forget,
was just going to say, he's actually
your high
hired a
school time,
stylist.
your mom said you better pray for that
Most of his
1,700
career
hours.
are men.
And it came
And he did
somewhere,
hire a
right?
few ear hostesses.
Were you spiritual or religious back then?
Yeah, I grew up in a very, very Christian, conservative household. To the point where, you go to church Sunday night church service, Wednesday night youth group, Thursday Bible study, and then Saturday there's some sort of church activity. So we're very much involved in the church. And
I'll be proud of you
not
now,
only
Chris.
that, my dad found a pastor in Irvine who was
It's not Matt.
studied theology.
It's not Matthew, is it?
And
No,
he
Matt Burke.
spoke Greek and Hebrew, and would read the Bible in its original text. So very, very,
Very lucky.
in-depth knowledge of the Bible and its teachings. So yeah,
Do to others before they do to
Were
you.
you ever familiar with the law of attraction? Are you familiar with
Oh,
manifestation?
get a
I
bucket,
am
guys.
familiar. Yes, very familiar with the law of attraction, manifestation. At that time, no, that stuff. John Maxwell, who's big in leadership now and that kind of stuff, was more of a pastor then, and didn't really have all these books and stuff like that when I was a kid. So podcasts were around. I was there just like you for the first phone that didn't have internet. That you could get free calls after 9 or carrier to carrier. So there wasn't things at your fingertips like they are today. No, but
Chris was born in
I think my version
1991,
of
September the
manifestation at the
18th. His
time was
birthday's
praying to
next
God,
week.
'cause
He's
I would
only a
ask
young
God
fella,
for
but
things,
he's talking like
and
he's a granddad.
One, really wanted to go on this trip, and two, I would just ask for stuff. I really want this job, or I really want to. I remember when my brother got his first car. It was a total POS. It was a '92
Translate
Toyota
that for you,
Corolla
piece of
blue
shit.
with a black bumper. It looked like a Smurf on wheels. And I was like, I am not driving that when I'm 16. So I would always just ask God, like, let me be in a position I can have a nice car. And so when I turned 16, almost 17, I was working and found a nice, or my dad found it was a nice lifted Ford Explorer, which obviously, you know, is not maybe the nicest of cars, but being 16, it was a pretty sweet leather seats, AC, lifted, 4x out. Like, it was a pretty cool car to be driving at 16. So,
Oh man.
yeah.
But you know, I mean, that story remind me of an example of manifestation or just God, right?
Yeah.
And I honestly, my personal belief is that you co-create with the higher power.
Oh,
For some it's Jesus or God or universe or Allah or whatever it may be, or
Gandhi.
for Jewish people. But prayer, that's manifestation.
Yeah.
But the fact that how often that happened with you?
As a kid,
You pray for something, close your eyes, you pray, you connect.
please
you
don't let
go,
me
you
get
move forward,
arrested
and boom,
for running a Ponzi scheme.
phone call, mail, something.
The same.
You find out something.
all the time. I would say that what has been brought into my life is everything I've asked for early on.
Oh, it's
and
just
maybe
harmonic,
early
isn't it?
in my 20s.
So beautiful.
I've always wanted to impact people.
Mm-hmm.
I've always obviously wanted to have nice things. One of the biggest things when I went to New York in 8th grade, when I got back, I said, I want to travel the world. Like, I want to make that a staple point.
Mykonos, here we
And
come.
I've been able to do that. And so, yeah, that's why I'm a firm believer in manifestation, firm believer in writing down your goals, because everything that I've spoken, I've been able to accomplish. And it's, you know, it's not a fantasy at this point. It's the actual truth.
It's insane. It's amazing how much, how far a person can go.
In a few
I think
months' time, people are
intentional.
going to watch this and go,
Very
"Oh my
much.
God, he had
My whole
balls,
life,
didn't he, to come in here and do
little
this?"
backstory.
Just
Brooklyn,
saying.
New York, single mom, grew up with nothing. Mom passed away. She died when she was 45, cancer. I was 21, and my life.
Oh,
up
we're going
to
to play
that
this
point,
game all day
Chris,
long,
was
mate.
like
We've got one of those as well. That's not
victim
mine.
mentality.
Look at that. That's a
Why
better
me?
one.
Why my father had
Ding,
to leave
ding.
me? And why was I raised on fruit stamps? Man, why did my mom have to go? I was the only child, right? Single mom, only child. I was so close to her, man. And it's been 20 years, but even to this day, the pain stays here. But I wish you could see what I've done. And it's like victim mentality. And I never thought I had
Where's
any
KB?
control
Is
in my
KB
life.
in
It's
here?
like, oh, either you're born with it or your skin color has to be white.
Yeah.
You have to be, the Joneses, or, you and I would not do well. That's my mindset. Like, if me and you were going to school together and we're buddies, like, yo, we're fucked, dude. Like, unless we go become doctors,
Yeah.
we can't go in the business world because they won't like us.
Yeah.
Right? The victim mentality was my thing until I found the secret.
The secret.
And that just blew my mind away.
I tried reading it.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
connect
mean,
with
very
me.
much. I think, and that's
Just
kind
a wee
of,
secret I'll tell you about me.
growing up, my mom's from Mexico, and I don't think a lot of people understand this today, but when you grew up and when I grew up, this was America and we spoke English.
100%.
And the reason my mom didn't teach us Spanish was because she didn't want people knowing that we were Mexican.
Yes.
You just look at your skin, you're like, you're not white. But it was a different America. And I tell people that when they ask me why don't I speak Spanish or why don't I do this, why don't I do that? Well, the America we're growing up today, where there's a lot of tolerance and you need to be inclusive and all this stuff, was not the America that I grew up in. And you wanted to learn English, you wanted to speak the language of of being in America, and it was a prideful thing to be American and speak English and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, you are right. Just not getting doubt just because of the color of your skin was very much real in the 90s. Maybe not as much as it was early before that, with everything else going on, but it was still around and it was still prevalent, even in my childhood.
What year were you born in?
Being to be 91. American.
Okay, so you're younger than me.
Yeah, 91, 18th of September to be
After
exact.
the In-N-Out job, where'd you go?
Had to provide that
So
information
from
to Homeland
In-N-Out,
Security
which
today.
actually is
They're
kind
investigating
of a
them.
funny
Just
story.
saying.
I got fired from corporate for accepting a gift So I'd been with In-N-Out for
No,
almost
the
8
gift
years.
was meant to be used for
and I was let go.
the company, not
First
yourself.
off, my boss hated me. I dealt a lot with the CEO of In-N-Out
trying to be
and
transparent.
would handle a lot of confidential information. And I, am given that information, and I wouldn't share that with anyone. And she hated that being kind of left out of the loop. So me and her always had a very strenuous relationship.
Oh.
And so I got let go because they asked me if I accepted a gift from one of our big partners, and their concert tickets to Adele. And I said, yeah, absolutely. We don't have a policy about that. Everyone here in the company has done it. So I didn't think that there was anything wrong with it. And she
Who wouldn't
pushed
want
get me
tickets to
fired,
Adele,
and I
eh?
got fired. So I was unemployed for 8 days and got hired by Tom Ferry, who is a big real estate coach based out of Irvine, which I would say was probably my best experience in corporate America. And Tom is just a genuine guy and had a massive impact on my life.
For those that don't know Tom Ferry, I'm a former real estate agent. I still have my license. Tom Ferry is the GOAT of the real estate training business world. His son, Tom Ferry Jr., is now taking over.
No, Mike Ferry was the original.
Oh, Mike said Mike Ferry.
Mike Ferry is Tom's dad. So Mike Ferry started kind of what we have real estate coaching now. Tom Ferry is his son, who started Tom Ferry International, or Ferry International, who's now kind of taken over the space.
It's insane.
The largest real estate coaching company in the United States.
I would call him the Tony Robbins of the real estate world.
Yeah.
Right?
Very much. Very, very much.
So you work with him.
Yeah, I worked with Tom, the son.
How did that happen?
So there was just a job listing. I got let go of In-N-Out. I went home, and I pulled up LinkedIn. At the time, I had a family, wife, kids. Just bought a brand new home in Apple Valley, and so there's a lot of financial stress. Good thing was In-N-Out pushed investments in 401ks and stuff like that. So I had, I think, close to like 20,000. My 401k that I could withdraw. So I knew mentally, if I couldn't find a job right away, at least I had a plan to continue to pay my mortgage for 3 to 6 months. And I found a job listing online, and this was actually in my interview. This was actually I asked my boss this, who hired me at Tom. So I saw a job listing online, applied for it. I think I was the only candidate that applied for that job that typed out their application. So download application, typed it out. I think most people fill it out, which shows you if you just take a little attention to detail and just go the extra step, it really
shows.
It was massive impact, because the impact Tom had in my life was huge. But during the interview, when you talk about manifestation and things kind of just happened for me, this is a funny thing. During the interview, my manager looked across from me, or the lady interviewing me, who happened to would be my manager. She looked at me and she goes, "There's something special about you, and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to hire you." Not only am I going to hire you, I was the only candidate within that organization that didn't have an interview with the COO, who gave the final sign off. So what happened during that interview, or what she saw, gave her the confidence to say, I'm going to hire this person, without getting her boss's approval. And I only found out about that because when I got hired, maybe like 2 weeks later, I ran into the COO of the company, and she goes, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Chris. I worked here for 2 weeks." There's a lot of travel in my job. So I worked here for 2 weeks. I work in the events department with Ashley, and she goes, "Huh, wait, you're the one I didn't interview." She's like, "Yeah, she really likes you. There's something about you," and just walked off. And I was like, all right, well, there's something here.
Wow.
Is when I got.
It's like a sign.
Yeah.
Right? How much money were you making at this point?
There, typical 60, 70,000 a year in a corporate, event planning marketing job.
This is year 2000?
This is late 2015 or 2016, yeah.
This is not too long ago.
Yeah, not too long ago. Yeah, nine years ago.
Okay. You know, that I love hearing. You have to get it 20 years in life to make it somewhere. Son, put your head down and again, don't leave the job. You have to have loyalty to your company. And wow, okay. So coming back. 2016, 2017, 60,000. You have kids, you're married.
Yeah.
Okay. Where we go from there?
From there, it was just a rocket ship. From there was a lot. Tom taught a lot about self-belief, taking action, doing the work, becoming the best version of yourself. And that was really the first time I started hearing someone speak about that self-improvement, everything that, people learn today, law of attraction, all that stuff. Tom really instilled that into training his agents, training his employees. We, would have to read books to self-improve and all that kind of stuff. So for me, that's why I attribute so much of my success to Tom, is because I think he finally, you're banging on a nail and you're getting a little bit of progress, and then it's that one hit and the nail just drives through. And so I'd already been working on myself. I'd already knew I had all these gifts, and
Sorry.
was
I'm working in the
was
background,
doing
guys.
a good job,
Just listening to this,
and
see if I can
always
find
outshined
anything interesting.
my peers. But I think Tom was that final hit in the nail that just made me flip a switch and say, like, I can make something of myself. Either make something of myself in this company or make something of myself in the real world.
So you left Tom.
So I got headhunted. And for those of you who don't know what headhunting means,
You probably don't.
yeah. So in the corporate world, when you're headhunted, it just means that another company reaches out with an offer. So they're not asking you
He's
to
a
interview,
valuable
they're not
resource,
asking you to
obviously.
do all these things. They're basically saying,
Here
we
you
want you, send us your information, you're hired. I got headhunted by Grant Cardone.
Oh.
That's why I ended up in
Whoa.
Florida.
All right.
We've been doing
So
some
we all
work.
know who Grant Cardone is. I hope
We've
Grant
been
Cardone
watching
is
him for a
real
few
estate
years too,
investor.
just saying.
Huge, controversial, of course. I like him. I like his style. I like what he stands for the most part. I mean, there are some stuff you hear here and there, but he hasn't ever been. I'm
Arrested?
sure the lawsuits happen, but for me, that he's a positive figure.
I would stop digging your hole there, mate.
Sales, marketing, branding. You agree?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to the guy. He did it. How he did it or his beliefs or anything like that, I mean, you're going to critique anyone. He's very
In your face.
in your face, big
Sorry.
ego, carries himself.
Oh my
I think
god.
that's what a man is supposed to exemplify. Maybe he does it in a way people don't like, but he's very successful. He impacts a lot of people, and he also drives you to be a better person. That when I worked for Grant was the most pressure I had felt on my life. It was a pressure to succeed because they instill, that 10x life and setting a goal, but making it 10x times the size, because even if you don't hit your goal, even if you don't hit the 10x goal, you would have surpassed your original goal and landed somewhere in the middle, which you would have been better off than saying, hey, I want to make $1 million a year. No, I want to make 10 million a year. Well, maybe that year you made 2 or 3. Still way better than your original goal. So there's a lot of pressure for success, a lot of pressure to produce as well. Production in that company and how that company is driven is like no other company I've ever seen. So, yeah, a lot of pressure working for Cardone.
Did they call you or email you? They hit you. They give you an offer. They took you in.
Yeah.
You moved to Aventura.
So yeah, moved, packed up my whole family, and
Wife and kids.
Yep, wife and kids, and moved them all over to Florida,
South Florida.
South Florida. Yeah.
Where do you live?
We lived in Sunrise.
Oh my God, dude, that's where I'm from. What year was this?
This was early 2018.
Dude, oh my God.
Yeah,
Chris, we
early.
probably would pass each other by.
Probably.
What part of Sunrise you live?
I lived right by what's that? Not AT&T. B&T.
Yes.
B&T or BT.
BBT or something,
BBT
yeah.
or something like that. Maybe 5 minutes from there. I used to go to the church community.
It's right there.
Yeah, right there.
Sawgrass Mills is right there.
Yeah, right by
Right.
Sawgrass Mills. Yeah.
Oh my God, Plantation Sunrise.
Yeah.
They had the Hawks Landing, a beautiful development, the Davy Ranches, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So FYI, from Brooklyn. I lived in Miami for 20 years before, and been from Miami to Sunrise to Orlando. Where was Grant's office? Were you working?
Aventura.
It was Aventura.
Yeah,
He moved it now, I think. Oh, he's still there. It's still there, I think.
I think, yeah, they still have their office there. The glass building that was next to them,
By the mall? Close to the mall.
close to them,
Yeah.
they didn't own yet.
Okay.
When I was there, Grant only owned half of the building, and then when I left, he had purchased the other half. Yeah.
So you talked to him often back then?
Back then, yeah. I mean, I was an executive for his company.
Reporting straight to him.
Reporting straight to him and the COO. So, worked in the marketing and events department. Helped build the
that's
events
annoying.
team, helped build the marketing team. We were integrated very much, as much as our marketing efforts, event efforts, and overall company sales as well.
How much did you earn at that time, if you don't mind me asking?
At that time, I was well into the six figures. Yeah, multiple six figures.
Good life.
Was happy, and a good salary, a good
Bonus commissions.
bonus
structure.
commission structure. It's sales. So, and Grant teaches sales, and everything you sell, you get a piece of, and he very much honored that.
Your wife was a housewife?
Yeah,
Raising the kids.
correct.
Is some of the stuff we hear about Grant online?
I
and
know it's
stuff,
not much.
Yeah, have you seen some? I mean, I probably want to ask you that, but overall, for the most part, in your perspective, your experience, positive individual,
Yeah, I would say people don't like Grant because he's in your face.
right?
But people don't like that because it's the truth.
It is bloody boring.
If I call
must
you
say,
lazy and you're
not
like,
looking
I'm
to
not
host
lazy,
too
and you get
much,
offended
but,
by it, well, is there an
I
aspect
mean,
of your
if
life
I knew
you're
that this
lazy?
guy was a bloody
If
legend,
I
I'd
call you
probably be glued
overweight
to
and you
this.
feel uncomfortable
But
with
I'm
that,
not, because I know
some people
the
call me
history of this
overweight and I'm
guy.
like, yeah, I
He's
need
just
to
trying to
lose
lift his
10,
profile and be
15
somebody he
pounds.
isn't.
Like, no big deal.
You all do, right?
But, so someone that's constantly in your face, constantly telling you, to be a man, you need this, to be a provider, you need this, and you're not doing those things, yeah, you're gonna get offended by those things. Either you're gonna get offended or you're gonna take action and
You know,
do it.
you made it when he's on the
And
Joe
so
Rogan
he obviously attracts a lot of
podcast.
action
There,
doers.
Chris. This ain't cutting the mustard.
I have nothing bad to say about Grant. I think Grant does a lot of good for
Give me 10
personal
minutes,
development.
I'll find
I
something.
think he does a lot to push an individual. He definitely expanded my mind more.
Just gotta get
it was
myself a
just
drink,
kind of
guys. Wake
an
myself up.
added
I'm
cherry
gonna
on
put
top of
virtual
what
Danny
I had
in
already
here.
been
I
learning
have got a
from
virtual
Tom
Danny
Ferry.
somewhere.
And he did give me that
There he
little
is.
extra push to say, like, hey, I can do these things. I can have nice things in life. I can,
That's virtual Danny.
accomplish a lot, not only for myself, but for my family and for my team. And so it was very much another big impact in my life working for him.
So you, just by default, working for these two individuals, you got so much self-development in your face.
Yeah, it was very much without even realizing it, because that space too, that self-development, motivational stuff, it was very new. I mean, people had been talking. Tony Robbins had been around for years, but Tony Robbins has his style. But to have other people outside of Robbins and outside of John C. Maxwell and all this stuff, it was a very new space. It was very new to hear, people with driving you, motivating you, all that kind of stuff, which I think I loved really much, and it's what's gotten me here today.
I can see that now, brother. I mean, it's self-development. I owe everything. Of course, after the stroke, I lost everything, and I had to learn how to walk again, talk again. My connection to God was number one. Number two was self-development. I mean, all these people you're talking about, PBD was huge in my life at that time.
Yeah.
Even to this point, his teaching in business were a big fundamental aspect of my self-development. So people ask me all the time, like, how'd you go from losing everything, stroke, and now owning med spas and podcasts and sitting across multi-millionaire like yourself? I contribute to self-development.
Yeah.
Right? Because self-belief.
Well, it's self-belief, self-development, but when you start getting to a level of that confidence and that belief starts turning into action, you start attracting people.
Yes.
Did I miss anything?
Are doing the exact same thing.
Yes.
So they're very much, when people talk about energy, they're very much, I can walk up to an individual and we do not I don't care how much money you have or what you've done. We just don't connect. But someone who is on the same wavelength as I am, who is practicing that, who believes in it, who has had action from that, you very much connect on an instant deeper level than someone who may be on the same financial grade as you or whatever it might be. I mean, I live in a community that I'm pretty sure I don't relate to a lot of them, and they're very wealthy individuals, but we have a different mindset of thinking rather than, them. So,
And even though everyone in your neighborhood has to be wealthy, there's no this one guy's got to buy.
He's only been there for about 10 minutes.
There's parts of Sunrise where we're from, there's, okay, this guy
He's just put himself an $8.5 million house with your money.
But the level you're at, I mean, but it's interesting, right? Even though every one of you are 7-8 figure entrepreneurs, or maybe they're physicians and they own businesses, but the energy is different.
Yeah.
Thinking is different.
I think there's an aspect of being successful in your career or your business. There's an aspect of being successful and purposeful. And I think that's what people miss. People want to be successful because they want the cars and the watches and the vacations and this, that. I wanted to be successful with purpose. I wanted to, no one knows this, but
no one knows this. So we've got a heckler in the chat room, which we love because we've got a few what we call Grant fans. And this particular guy has actually posted a comment under my last video, I believe, because it seems very similar. And let's have a listen to this website. It says 48 laws of Power Bro. You are a fake journalist. You have posted a photo of the wrong person, claiming him to be Jason Newton. Yeah, we actually got his name wrong. And we did have the wrong photo, but that's actually why we call it persons of interest. But we've got the right name now, and we've got the right person now. So let's clear that up, shall we? Let me see if I can find that person. 1 second, please, caller. Millinote. And that's why we ask people to reach out to us and get the spelling of people's names right. So let's see what we've got here. So let's flip back here. So this is our current investigation that we're doing. And these are the people of interest which have either invested, promoted, or are in Chris's inner circle. And we have still got the wrong photo. And you're talking about this person here, but I've actually deleted this person. But we did find their company. So I'm assuming that this is the correct company that now of the person that we're investigating. And this person is meant to be based in Canada. And we're still researching. So that's why what we do here, guys, is we are building intel and gathering information about individuals. That's meant to be, I'm not sure if that's the same person, but this is a good example here. So this young person here called Sydney Newton had commented on a Goliath Ventures Inc. Post. So because it had the same last name as Newton, we started tracking this person so we could find the person that we're actually looking for. And now we have found this person. No, that's wrong. So that's the wrong person, and you are correct. So what we do is we update our database and we ask people if they know the real Jason Newton to reach out to us, because we are building a database. And that's what we do. So that's quite cool. So I need to get rid of that. But in the meantime, we are researching people. This is the database that we have, guys. So this is persons of interest. Currently, I have over 550 people in here, which are all individuals that have been part of some Ponzi scheme or scam. We've broken them into different countries because we know in America it's a bit tricky with the jurisdictions. And then we gather intel. And my database is currently accessed by 6 different countries, and 7 different government agencies. And that's what we do. And then the other thing what we do is we go after Ponzi schemes and scams. And this is what I do. So we're always trying to get the other thing. So, yeah, and obviously the hacklers that come in here are often people that hide behind fake identities, which we absolutely love. So let's have a look and see about this person. So you discovered YouTube on the 12th of June, 2025, and your username is 48 Laws of Power. 48 Laws of Power. And I would have a guess. I would have a guess, Eric, that I probably know who you are. Just guessing. Might be wrong. But we never claim to be right, and we're always asking for people to reach out to us. So if you go to deheck.com, you'll find there's a website there. And if you go to the Contact Us page, you can actually fill out information here and tell us if you've been scammed by anyone or any individual. Give us your name, email, username, phone number if you want. You don't have to. You can just use anonymous@gmail.com. Tell us the name of the Ponzi scheme or scam that you've invested in or you've got intel on. Tell us the persons who sponsored you into it. Tell us the date. Tell us how much money you invested. And if you're kind enough, tell us how much dividends you've actually received, if any, in total, because we're always interested. And any wallet addresses or any crypto addresses or how you paid the money or how the money was handled, that is also interested. And we put all that information into our database. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, just nice to have you here, mate. Diogo is a clown. But we do love hecklers. So you also said Sigil is an actress. Boy, it's good that you're watching everything I say. But at the end of the day, it's just my opinion. And any intel is welcome. And we'll get our facts right. But what I can tell you is that if you go to my website, I've got to go answer a door. So I'm just going to put this back and we'll be back to normal. Let's listen to Chris.
Before I went and bought
and I'll put
a supercar or Rolls
virtual
Royce
me
or
there.
whatever,
The Cully.
I bought my parents a home. I bought my dad a brand new truck. I was a multi-millionaire and was driving a 2015 Nissan Altima. And it was just very much that I wanted to, as people say, get my house in order. Wanted to get my house in order, my finances correct, financially free, financially stable. But I also wanted to provide that for my parents as well. And once I did that, then I felt this burden off of me and saying, okay, now I've earned the right to go get a supercar, go buy a Rolls Royce, take nice vacations, do all this stuff, get a bigger house, whatever it might be, because I took care of them. I got my house in order, and then I was like, okay, now I can go have some fun.
You know, it's interesting. I'm from a Pakistan household, old Muslim household. You're Christian, Mexican. We may have different religions or background and country, but we're all the same. Sanjay, a mutual friend of both of ours, like he's taking care of his mom, his father. You know, my mom passed, my dad got divorced, but my in-laws are a big part of my life. Me and my wife make sure we take care of them, and it's one of our missions as we get, as you grow financially. You know, you don't see that in white America.
Yeah, and but this goes to show to like the original conversation you and I were having with attraction. You know, we're us three are all now together. You know, but we all are kind of doing the same thing. You know, we all are, you know, Sanjay's taking care of his family. I'm taking care of mine. You're taking care of yours. That's where the likeliness of people come. And yeah, maybe you don't see it in other cultures as much, but I think that's where that drive and that fire comes from, and having nothing. You know, Sanjay, you know, came from nothing and has built an amazing company. And we work, my company and his company work a lot together on stuff. And, you know, and you and him. And so there's a lot of similarities, which I think is why we get along. And, you know, other countries, but maybe things were handed to them. They're not looking for that. You know, they're not looking to take care of, you know, their peers, or, you know, it's more of an entitlement and a selfishness than someone who had to build it all for themselves.
Speaking of working together, rumors has the KB be joining Goliath real soon, and also I don't know the CEO founder of Goliath knows, but Stroke of Success having a mastermind that we'll be talking about sponsorship. I talked to Mike yesterday about a sponsorship perhaps coming soon. We'll still talk about the details right now, but we'll be working soon together too, Chris. Don't worry, my friend.
Awesome.
You got your culture, the again, coming back to Goliath, we want to get back in detail to Goliath, but what I've seen so far, my friend, what a culture you have built. It just speaks volume, you know, and we'll come back to that in a second. Grant Cardone, things are good, South Florida. Next stop is Goliath.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It had a different name at the time. And so, you know, Grant always talked about, you know, where's your money at? Where, you know, who has your money? You know, I think there's a hat or a shirt that says, you know, who has your money or who has my money.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I started my company called Gen Z Venture Firm, because Gen Z is the next is the next wave of people who are going to be successful. And so I felt like that was a good name. Goliath was unavailable at the time. But there's a funny story in how we acquired that name. But I started in 2019 with my own money. I had already been well into crypto for a very long time. I've already learned a lot about blockchain and the tech behind it and stuff like that. And it was very much just a private consulting business early on. My money was there. And I had some other people that I was consulting for too as well that were part of Gen Z, which now is Goliath, and a completely different company of, you know, what we first started.
Gen Z fund, what's it called? Gen Z what?
Gen Z Venture Firm.
Gen Z Venture. Would I be open, just knock on your door, hey Chris, I have some money, can I invest with you?
No.
So like a private.
Very private.
Interesting.
My money, more of a consulting.
Okay.
This is what we're doing. You know, you can do here. Even now, even with Goliath,
it's private.
It's private. Even if you knocked on our door,
you're not getting in right away.
Yeah, no, we're a private equity firm, and we only want to work with certain individuals, and you know, and we have a very structured model, and we don't want to bring people in that want to change that structure. This is the success behind the company. This is how we're willing to operate and play with you with. And if you don't want to adhere by our rules or the structure that has had tremendous success, then you're just not the right partner for us. So whether it's then or whether it's now, you know, we're not actively soliciting investments. We're not. We've actually never solicited any investment. You know, Goliath has grown by organicness, has grown by the reputation behind my name, has grown behind the success we've had in other markets and other acquisitions of companies. And to that point, all I can say is that I'm blessed of kind of where we're at today, the people that I have around me, and the growth that we've had in these last couple of years.
That's amazing. So that's where Goliath came from.
Yeah.
What made you move to Orlando?
So 2 companies that I was consulting for were here based in Orlando. And not only because I was working for them or consulting for them, but also Miami is just not, it just really isn't the place for kids.
Or be married.
Or yeah.
Good-looking guy like yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
So I loved Orlando and decided that this is where I wanted to move outside of.
Sorry, I got my mic off because I'm eating chips. Did he say he's married? He's not married. He's going through a divorce. We've got all the court documents in one of our first blogs we did about him. That's crazy.
Miami, and I loved Florida in general, so I knew I was staying in Florida. But that's when I was like, we need to move to Orlando because Miami is just not the place for a family.
Wow. And what year did you move here?
2019.
Okay. Oh, the year before we did. We moved here COVID 2020.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
2020, my friend. Yeah. I was telling you, walking here, the parking lot, we knew no one. And, eventually, look where we're at. Man, so Goliath technically has only been open for 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, 2019, February 2019 is when I established it. So 6 years now, we've been around. And the level that we have reached has been nothing short of a blessing. And the trust that people have in us, the partnerships that we've established, and the companies that we've acquired, I think are the future. And not only that's all great. The impact that we've had, the impact as a CEO that I've had with my team and with my...
Well, I think that's a very good point, Susie. So did he say he was a private equity firm? Because he's now changing the terminology that he's using because he obviously realised he isn't what he claims he is. But yeah, that maybe I love 42's gone quiet on us. That's a shame. One of my mods had quietened you. We don't mind a bit of heckling, but yeah, the noise was getting deafening, so we've shut him out. But it's dumb because, the private equity firm there's no proof of anything that this company's doing. That's why we've gone after them. And also, this is why there's an active investigation at the moment with Homeland Security. And we've had some help with the Secret Service as well by getting that investigation going, which has been really nice. Thanks, John. You're a dude. But yeah, what we're getting at here, guys, is the claims that this guy is making aren't verifiable, which is a real shame. But the private equity firm one is something he's just, and I don't know if you've noticed, if you watch this guy's LinkedIn post, they blocked me on LinkedIn, but I can still see their company information. They're now putting disclaimers out, trying to cover up their tracks. The outrageous claims that this guy's made, he claims in 2024, their words, not mine, that they have given away $100 million to investors in dividends. And they also claim that 115% of the money that people have paid into their scheme is protected. And they also claim that they guarantee people's money is safe. They've also got insurances in place, theoretically, never naming any insurance company, any proof of, they've never showed their books to anybody. So the whole lot of what he's saying is, trust me, bro. Trust me, bro, is what he is actually saying. And we've gone and had this whole investigation that we're doing with myself and the Avengers is actually all started by us asking 4 simple questions. You claim this, give us an answer. You claim this, give us an answer. They ignored our emails. So then we started doing a deep dive into this guy. Well, we've actually been, our team of Avengers has actually been going back a year with information, and it's breathtaking. And a lot of the wealthy people in Florida have invested with this guy. This is, in my opinion, is 100% a Ponzi scheme and scam. He hasn't done anything. He's got no proof of anything, and it's absolutely breathtaking. So definitely got our interest.
Family and their families. And I look at my team and I see the self-belief that they have in them, the confidence that they have in them is more than I could ever have asked for. And that's, the cars are nice, the vacations are nice, everything's nice. Seeing someone live in their true authenticity and believing in themselves and taking action, I think is a gift that you can't put a price on that.
Yeah, so you get thinking, you get a little emotional thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing my team members, now retire their parents. And you talked about the culture of Goliath in my company. What I love most about my company is when I get behind something, I don't even have to ask my team to get behind it. When I donate to a cause,
I heard
they donate to a cause. Oh. When I go to an event, 25 people show up. My team shows up. That's what I'm truly proud of, is that the people surrounded by me have the same vision, have the same goal, and want to contribute just as much as I want to contribute. And I think that's why our impact has been so great, because it's not just me going out there and either writing a check or donating my time, whatever it might be. I have a team of people, and I don't think there's another company where, I show up on a Saturday and they're, your employees are there too, and having just as much fun as you are.
I was told that gal
Sounds like the Avengers he's talking about.
And the amount of money. I'm really good friend with Weil.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about you yesterday. Mike was right here. Mike C. I mean, what a story he has. Oh man, what a story has been. I think maybe a book.
Actually, I bought a title to a book. It's called The Altar Boy.
Okay. Oh wow.
It's just my journey growing
Really?
up in a very strict Christian conservative household, and guiding young
Hey, I know a
men
book
through
publishing
the
company that
challenges
helps.
of going through that. Christianity played a massive part of my life. Still does today. Still believe in God, and what I was brought up in, but there are things in the church that are taught, especially to young men, that I think are absolutely false.
Do not steal.
If you have sex before marriage, you're not going to hell. That's not a biblical, commandment. God made our bodies a certain ways and develop in at certain times. And I think having those conversations is important. And I think the Christian church teaches the complete opposite. If you don't follow this path, then it's absolute hell. If that's the case, and we don't have a forgiving God, we don't have a just God. We have someone who has set rules, which everyone has broken.
Yeah.
So it was So to the book point, I purchased a name, and obviously there's success and motivation and stuff like that, but more just a guiding light to young men who have that same background that I have.
I was in Houston recently. I spoke at a mastermind conference, Mario Lopez. And, my wife didn't go with me. And I love my wife. I've been with my wife for 20 years. So I'm at the after parties, in a lot of tension from the opposite sex, right? And I saw what was coming, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to go home earlier. You travel quite a bit. You're a good-looking guy. You have a lot of money.
Oh, a lot of people's money.
Temptation, it's out there.
Where did he
How
get
do
his
you
money from? Come on, guys.
Deal with it.
He got it from new investors.
Master of self-control, my friend. I think not to give credit or whatever, but Dan Blazarian talks about, not that he's a role model of mine at all.
No.
But he talks about a man who doesn't have plentiful, wants plentiful, and a man who has plentiful doesn't want it, or wants it on his own time. And it really comes down to, yes, there's a lot of things at my fingertips. I get a lot of attention. I get a lot of attention from the opposite sex.
Oh my
In
God,
whatever
give me a
capacity, whether
bucket.
it's someone who genuinely wants to know who I am, or just someone that wants to use me for whatever.
Sexual favors?
Having that self-control and being in tune with yourself and knowing where you stand in the world eliminates a lot of that temptation. There's no need for me to engage in any of that stuff. Kind of when you said, drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. Addiction is because you have no self-control. And when you have gotten to a level, you need to carry yourself a certain way. You need to act a certain way. And part of that core is being able to control yourself, control your emotions, control your actions, control how you engage in certain situations. So, yeah, it's not saying it's not there. It happens a lot. I get approached a lot, especially in, towns that I'm in, whether it's Orlando or New York or LA.
Miami,
Dubai, wherever. I have a very, people know who I am and the success that I've had. But
Sorry, be serious with you.
giving into that, I think, makes you more powerful.
Amen.
Amen.
You had 3 kids.
Yeah.
I saw a Father's Day post recently, last month. A beautiful post he put on. But this month, actually, Father's Day. Yeah, I have. And beautiful family you have.
Beautiful family. He's going through a divorce.
How do you raise good? Me and Sanjay had this conversation on my podcast with him also. How do you raise good kids when you are? How does a kid remain humble and good spiritually, good values when he's son of Chris Delgado?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, yeah. Well, we haven't seen him very much
I
lately.
think so. What
that
I
the
learned
one?
early on having kids is they watch everything. They are sponges, even into the early teenage years, like my kids
Just
are
doing
right
some
now.
work in the background here, guys, in case
They
you're wondering.
watch how you talk to people, how you treat people,
Oh, he's a good
how
father.
you engage with people, who around do you allow and who you don't. And not only that, being purposeful and intentful in your relationship with your kids. I'm a very engaged father. I will cancel meetings. I will cancel trips. It doesn't matter how much money you want to give me or where you want me to meet you. If there's something important. So we talked about
Nice to see you here,
me
Sea
going to
Dog.
New
Haven't seen you for a
York.
wee while.
And after the Runway to Hope, what people didn't realize is Monday morning, my son had a soccer game at Disney that I promised him at 10 a.m. that I promised that I'd be at. So not only Sunday did I fly to New York, but Monday morning, early morning, I flew back to Orlando so I can make my son's soccer game because my word means everything. And I told him I would be there. And I think those actions of showing up and being purposeful and intentful is where you get a good foundation of raising kids. And my kids will never see me disrespect someone or talk down to someone in any capacity. And I think you lead from there and they follow in that aspect. So even though my kids have the world at their fingertips and their father has everything the world could offer, the fact that I'm not entitled or I'm not, for better lack of word, an asshole to people, and I'm good, I'm gracious, and I'm giving, I think that has a deeper impact in them to say my father has everything and he still chooses to be kind to people. They follow in those footsteps as well.
Lead by example.
Very much leading by example, but also there's a follow through aspect to that too. You know, I could very much have said, son, I was with, I could have played the guilt card. I was with, our partners in New York City and, we did this, we did that. And I really need to be here for work. You'd have been like, no, I understand, Dad. Like, I get it. I have a blessed life. I appreciate you trying. But the fact that I not only lead by example, but I followed through on my word and made sure that I was there for him and showed up, I think that is the driving nail in the coffin for them is like, okay, this is how I need to act, just like how my dad acts.
Amazing. Amazing. Very blessed. Your kids are very blessed, and you are very blessed to have good kids also.
Yeah.
PBD, Patrick Bet David. I've been following Patrick Bet David for a long time now. Some of his recent views are, really interesting, but nonetheless, his business acumen, him as a leader, him as, I met him a few times. We had some conversation on Menek. We talk about stuff, business stuff. What I do admire about him is super humble, and he is what you see on camera. I saw a picture of you and him and the New York Yankees. Talk about that picture. How did the picture come about?
So, I was invited. He's a minority stakeholder in New York Yankees. Before I get into that, I agree with all the things you said about Patrick Bet David or PBD. I think what turned me on most to PBD was his involvement with his kids.
Yes.
And how much his kids love and adored him, which also made me change our company culture. So we bought the 18th floor in the Chase building, and we're doing a complete
I think I know
remodel.
who you bought it from.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. With that remodel is we built areas for kids, areas for them to come do their homework or be entertained or, be there. And I got that from Patrick. I saw how much he integrated his kids into his business and his life. And that's when it clicked in me that I can have it all, but I can also have my family too. And so that became a massive, that's what made me just completely just be a believer in him and just love and adore what he's built. But yeah, I was invited to New York to a Yankee game to hang out with him and his team. And, you know, people go for certain reasons. And whether it's to build a relationship or to find favor. And for me, I adore this guy. And for me, it was really just to enjoy a baseball game, have a couple beers, hang out with PBD. And that was very much it. And I think he saw that authenticity and me being genuine. And that's what made our, you know, that attraction grow between each other is just, I'm there to just have a good time. I don't need anything from you. I don't want anything from you. Just, you're a good role model and mentor to me when it comes to my family. And I want to be around like-minded individuals. And I think he grasped that really early on, which now we have a major announcement coming up soon.
Yeah, that's very true. He's a good son too.
Yeah.
His father lives with him,
Yeah.
which is really, really remarkable.
Which comes now down to what we talked about again, as far as being attracted to people that have the same morals and values. He takes care of his family. He takes care of his parents and everyone around him. And so it's not by accident that we meet each other that have the same values and morals and likeliness to each other.
100%.
So what is this big announcement?
Yeah. Well, we haven't announced it publicly, so it's, you know, it's I guess it's an honor to be invited here today and to announce that my company, Goliath Ventures, is the title sponsor for the Vault, which is happening, which the Vault Conference is Patrick's biggest event, which is happening in our hometown, Orlando, Florida, and we'll have 15,000 people there. And it wasn't cheap.
Oh, I can imagine, my friend.
But
$1 million,
we were
actually.
honored in the fact that Patrick gave his blessing for us to be the title sponsor of that event. So it just shows the true connection we have and relationship that we have and the respect, mutual respect we have of each other, that, you know, Patrick has all the money in the world. Anyone could have wrote a check, but he's allowing our company to be at the forefront of his big event is a true honor and blessing for us.
Yes, absolutely. Well, congratulations on that too. Congratulations. That's amazing news for y'all, for Goliath Ventures. Forgot one individual who's connected to both Peace, John Mason.
John Mason.
Shout
Yeah.
out John Mason. We love you, John.
John Mason's been a really, really good friend for many, many years. I think going on almost 5 years now. And he's been a great part of not only our personal friendship, but he helps, you know, train our team and instills leadership in them as well as a consultant. And so I'm truly blessed. And he's the connection between me and Patrick as well. So I'm truly blessed for the friendship that I have of John and just a genuine, great human being that person is.
He's amazing.
Who also, again, takes care of his mom and dad.
Oh yes, I know the story. And that,
Sure.
By the way, that was
Mrs. Me and I'll
we
pass it
saw- I
on to
met
you.
John, my wife and I were at the RiseCon in Tampa. Vic Tippenis, and John was on the panel. And John shared how his dad, I think, was a teacher, and how he retired his parents. And my wife and I, again, we both, you know, we want to take care of her parents. And we got like a tear in our eye, like wow, South Florida connection also. Yeah. But it was like, man, John, that's and we had him over for dinner one time, and him and his wife, fiance Maury, beautiful couple. God bless them, amazing people. You know, again, I agree with you, Chris. We're not sitting here because, you know, we like Patrick or David, or we like Sanjay. The frequency, the energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the energy is amazing, this podcast,
I
guys.
get invited to a lot of podcasts. I get invited to a lot of interviews. I turn down, I would say, 99% of them. But when you meet genuine people who are on the same
Yeah, you turned me down.
who have the same mindset as you want to connect with those people because we can only uplift each other. Well, there's only one way we can go, is when you surround yourself by great people. And, you know, we've all seen that, and it's not a coincidence that the 4 people we just talked about, not only that, even to mention Mike, you know, that who you had on your previous podcast
Yesterday.
is also starting to take care of his family.
Yes, he told me. His mom.
And so it's not by accident that we are all aligned and all on the same frequency and all are doing the same thing or
Right.
at the same events. It's where our heart leads us to, and then we end up meeting each other and stuff like that. And I've had people come into my life who you think are on the same frequency as you, and they're no longer here. And it's because you can't fake being authentic. You can't fake being genuine, and that goes away after time. The mask comes off after time, and you show your true colors.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm sure, and I researched you on YouTube. You've done other podcasts, very few in between, and you chose this platform to come share your story from the bottom of my heart, Chris. Much love. One last question. Successful individual like yourself, self-made, your daily habits.
Self-made with other people's money.
Primarily 20 to 30 entrepreneurs, people finding their way in life. When you wake up, do you have a routine that you would say, KB, this is what I do. This is my secret sauce, my success, or part of my secret sauce?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's a secret sauce. I wouldn't say, I'm not part of the 5 a.m. club.
Me either.
Beat the sun up. That works for some people. Some people need that driving force to get them out of bed and have that. And good for you. I think the true secret sauce or formula to success is finding a structure that works in your life and sticking to it and having non-negotiables. So I wake up 7 a.m. I go to the gym, non-negotiable. My team knows, don't call me, don't text me, don't bother me. I'm in the gym for an hour and a half. I come home, I shower, change, and then I decide to fast until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. In that time of fasting, I'm then creating a schedule of things that I need to get done for the day or things that I need to follow up with my team on, my family or whatever it might be. So my morning routine isn't like some where, you have the cold plunge, you have the sauna, you have beating the sun up, that kind of. This structure works for me, but I know mentally that if I don't get up, I don't work out, and I don't hold myself accountable, the day's done for me. So this structure works in my life. And I think really that's what people need to find. Stop trying to be part of a club that is just unrealistic. The people that were doing the 5 a.m. club 6 years ago, I guarantee you, are not waking up at 5 a.m. Your body needs rest. Your body needs to heal. And so if you can find a structure in your morning that works for you and stick to it, it's more mental power up here, and it's more defeating the mind and winning the day, that I think you're going to have a much better day, much more success in your overall health.
To do when you wake up or throughout your day, do you go over your goals? Do you do visualization? Do you have a vision board? Do you go back to that stuff every day, or that's pretty much gone now, and you're living that life?
No, I go over my goals. Okay. Maybe not on a daily basis, but I have goals of things I want to do in the world, of organizations I want to be part of the impact I want to have. Looking at other organizations that my goals and visions now obviously have changed over time and the success that we've had. But my overall goals and vision now is how much impact can I have in my team? How much impact can I have in my family? How much better of a father can I be? That's what my focus is on, rather than all the other stuff that may be on someone's vision board.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chris. Yeah, what an episode. A lot to learn. Part of me was like, man, maybe he comes from a rich family. Maybe just his gig. He's gotten it from his parents.
I always joke with my parents. I always say, if there's a trust fund, let me know.
That's a good time to do it now.
We did it, Mom. I proved myself. But if there's a trust fund with a couple $100 million there, you just let me know. But yeah.
Your mom and dad good health?
What's that?
They're in good health. Your mom and dad?
They're in good health. They're getting in better health. They're, kind of going over health like you asked. Like I work out, I do stem cells, I do hormone replacement therapy, and I've got them now on a regimen of hormone replacement therapy because they're older, and your body doesn't produce as much testosterone or estrogen or whatever it might be. Stem cell exosomes.
That's my love language, man. That's what we do.
Yeah,
yes,
just trying to get an overall health system going. But yeah, I take care of them too as well.
That's awesome. Chris, amazing, amazing interview. My audience, in closing, we sit here across a self-made individual, Mexican American, trailer park, 2 now private jets, and the Callies, the Bentleys, the exotic cars, the watches.
And that proved
If you're
success.
out there and you feel stuck, like 8 years ago, I felt stuck. Stroke took place, lost everything. I was depressed. But the one thing I didn't give up was on me. Self-belief, number one. Higher power, number two. You can change your life. Just because today is a certain way doesn't mean your tomorrow has to be the same way. So write your goals down, believe in yourself, believe in something bigger than you, and take massive action. Till next time. If you like this episode, please like the like button below, share with your friends and family, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, KB.
Well, that was boring as hell. Oh, this one looks more exciting. Interesting enough, though, we will go back.
How often that happen with you? You pray for something, close your eyes, you pray, you connect, and you let it go, you move forward, and boom, phone call, mail, find out something.
All the time. I would say that.
Yeah, so we've got some timestamps here, and we were actually, I got a phone call, unfortunately. I had to go. So somebody knocking on the door. Now, Sanjay is somebody who's been contacting us, telling us that he's had no connection with this guy other than just an investor. But interesting enough, we've got some timestamps here. So I'm just going to go back to ones I've got. So he talked about Sanjay at 23 this time here.
His team members from his team, and they had nothing amazing to say about the gentleman in front of me.
So that's a pretty big statement. So he's been talking to people from his team, but they had nothing good to say about him. That's pretty sad, eh?
The mayor has a
Hold on, listen to this.
and they had nothing amazing to say about the gentleman in front of me. The mayor, as I call him, Mayor Sanjay of Orlando, Florida. Me and him had a bunch of conversations, and again, an amazing individual. His story starts from.
So obviously they have a lot of dealings with Sanjay, which is really, really interesting. And we're going to go through and find the other clip because I missed it. So 47, we're going to go to 47, 47 minutes. And we're about 47 here. 47:17, that should do it.
And now I can go have some fun.
It's interesting. I'm from a Pakistan household, old Muslim household. You're Christian, Mexican. We may have different religions or background and country, but we're all the same. Sanjay, a mutual friend of both of ours, like he's taking care of his mom, his father. My mom passed, my dad got divorced, but my in-laws are a big part of my life. Me and my wife make sure we take care of them, and it's one of our missions as we get, as you grow financially. You don't see that in white America.
Yeah, and but this goes to show to like the original conversation you and I were having with attraction. We're us three are all now together. But we all are kind of doing the same thing. We all are, Sanjay's taking care of his family. I'm taking care of mine. You're taking care of yours. That's where the likeliness of people come. And yeah, maybe you don't see it in other cultures as much, but I think that's where that.
So that's interesting. So he's actually insinuating that Sanjay and him are quite close. And there's another clip as well at 48:17.
Drive and that fire comes from and having nothing. Sanjay, came from nothing and has built an amazing company. And we work, my company and his company work a lot together on stuff. And you and him. And so
here we are. I've been bombarded by phone calls by Sanjay telling me that he has nothing to do with Christopher. He's also told me that he's only invested less than $500,000 because he's only received 4 months worth of dividends. And he also has told me that he's never referred anybody to the company before. And then I said, look, mate, I have evidence that you have referred people. I'm not saying I have evidence of him receiving payment for doing so. Why not just come clean? And here we are, if we can believe what Chris says, because if you're in Team Chris, you want to believe everything he says. So he's just said that they work together. Now, just to reiterate that, I'm just going to go back and do that again.
There's a lot of similar work. My company and his company work a lot together on stuff.
So is Chris lying?
And we work, my company and his company work a lot together on stuff.
What stuff?
You know, and you and him. And so there's a lot of similarities, which I think is why we get along. And, you know, other countries. But
crazy. I love this 48 Law guy. You're in here telling me I'm saying things wrong, but all I'm doing is playing Chris's video. So, and extraordinary claims take extraordinary evidence. But there you go. So we've got Sanjay saying he's got nothing to do with Chris. I've accused Sanjay of introducing Goliath Ventures Inc. to the Indian chamber, and he says no. So I don't know who to believe here. But anyway, I'll just have a look to see if there's any other Sanjay clips, because that was interesting. Sorry, I mixed that. So at 60 minutes in, we have another bit of clip. So let's go back here, 60. So they're all friends, these people, the interviewer and, right, here we go.
Dubai, wherever. I have a very, you know, people know who I am and the success that I've had. But
he was really nobody 3 years ago, just saying.
Not giving into that, I think, makes you more powerful.
Amen. Your kids, you had 3 kids.
Yeah.
I saw a Father's Day post recently, last month, a beautiful post you put on. This month, actually, Father's Day. Yeah. And beautiful family you have. How do you raise good? Me and Sanjay had this conversation on my podcast with Tim also. How do you raise good kids when you are? Well, how does a kid remain humble and good spiritually?
So that's
good
all
values when he's son of Chris.
All right, so that's all the Sanjay evidence there. Look, it's really strange. I spoke to somebody, let's just say, I'm just going to get rid of a few screens off my screens. And we've got, if you go to my website and you search termination, one of the scammers managed to get my YouTube video shut down. Actually, they didn't. I actually uploaded, we go into Zoom meetings and we try to shut them down. And some of the techniques we use are quite embarrassing for the people who are running the Zoom meetings. One of my, well, it's not an Avenger I know, but one of my Avengers went into a Zoom meeting that I was rebroadcasting and broadcasted some naughty pictures. The meeting got shut down. It was great. Anyway, that video there was live at the time. So I got penalized by YouTube. So I made that video private and then re-uploaded a thumbnail and blurred it all out. But the thumbnail that I blurred it all out, which was quite funny, got picked up for public nudity. And that is why my YouTube channel got removed. A lot of people who are running Ponzi schemes and scams took the credit for it, and it was a lie. So after that happened, my YouTube channel went down for 3 or 4 days. And also other things that they do to my YouTube channel. For example, I thought that my website was getting a denial server attack today. It's been down for 12 hours and I've just managed to get it going. What that actually was is we're trying to fix, my website continuously get denial server attacks and it's detected by Google. So when it went down last night, I thought, oh my goodness, the people that are trying to take me down and the traffic that I was having problems with, I won't say, well, I will say what country, it was from the US. And it was, something didn't add up. Anyway, it was the logs of my website that I turned on that I hadn't turned on that caused my website to go down. I filled up my hard drive basically. Just for full transparency, it wasn't attacked by people in the US, but because obviously my site must be hosted somewhere in the US, well, it's protected by Google. the traffic was coming from the US, but it was my logs that were causing the problem. Long story short, no one that I know of in the US was trying to take my website down. So that was good, but I managed to fix it. My website's back and going. But over the course of the last 5 years, when I've been going after these scammers, they often try to attack me personally because that's easy, low-hanging fruit, because I've never invested in a Ponzi scheme. I'm not bitter. I'm not twisted. I was brought up in a religious cult. I've had 2 people in my immediate family die by suicide. My mother does still in the church, doesn't have anything to do with me. At the age of 40, I nearly died. I can give you a story that would, make you feel like, oh, poor Danny. But I'm a fighter, I'm a survivor, and that's good. And I've got a lot of people who care about me, and I care about a lot of people. So my journey as a YouTuber is not monetized, not driven by money, but I'm not a millionaire. I haven't made my money from a crypto Ponzi scheme, so I need to do things to survive. I'm a working person. People support me by giving me donations. So that's the first red flag that people pick up. Oh, he's doing it for money. Oh, he's trying to profiteer of people like Christopher and the like. I get it all day long. People continuously complain to YouTube, because they think they can, because they're keyboard warriors. So my story about keeping my content alive is all on my website. I'm fully transparent. I explain how I've had people buy, boy, that's taking up a whole screen, that one. I've had people, send fake users to my websites to destroy my credibility with YouTube. I've had people have my podcast taken down. And I write back and forth and I explain everything. So I'm fully transparent. So what we did is we got our website back after it got shut down the first time. We actually got an apology from YouTube because the AI picked up the wrong thing about the thumbnail. They don't explain too much, but all the correspondence of any heckler that's in the room that wants to say, you don't get many views for the amount of subscribers. I've never ever paid for anyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel, but this is what people who try to take my content down do. And it's all in here. I've begged YouTube to remove anything that isn't genuine. And they write back and go, oh, we have systems that pick it all up. But there's a novel of a blog in there explaining it all. So don't come in here and tell me that I'm doing it. When you realize what I do for work and the scammers I take down, then they fight back with technology as much as they can. Hence why my website that you're looking at is actually now protected by Google Project Shield. If you go to the bottom of my website, it actually says that this website is protected by Project Shield. This site is protected by Project Shield, a free service which costs a lot of money, well, probably $30,000 a year worth of technology, a free service defending independent journalists, human rights organisations, and public interest websites from digital attacks. That's the service they're offering me. And it's freaking awesome. And it's a privilege. So recently, because I was in the New York Times, they did a 2-page spread about my quest to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. I was in the printed edition. It was about 3 years ago now, and they nicknamed me the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. And I've used that for years. And I was just talking to a few of my Avengers the other day and said, I'm going to move away from that because I am Danny DeHeck. I'm an independent journalist based in New Zealand that name and shame individuals who run or promote Ponzi schemes or scams. Now, to be even more blunterer is that I work with a lot of government agencies. I provide them information where I can, and I'm and I could be saying I'm an activist or a vigilante. I'm somebody who actually doesn't sit around on their laurels talking about doing stuff. I'm actually the person that goes in there and gets in their faces and says, you're doing something wrong. And if it means that I get another cease and desist letter to pin on my wall, then so be it. I mean, 2 years ago, somebody was trying to sue me in the New Zealand High Court for $3.8 million. They filed a discontinuance an hour and a half before the High Court judge in New Zealand was going to open up the file. I got awarded all my costs. They never paid. The New Zealand taxpayer paid my tab. They were trying to bankrupt. The only thing they could do was bankrupt my company that doesn't make any money. I don't have money. I don't have assets. I'm the perfect person to sue because the only reason you would sue me is to silence me. And that's it. You're not going to get any money, because the people that were trying to go after me had scammed people out of $1 million. 42 people had come to me and they've all been scammed out of $1 million. The company, it was millions of dollars. And the guy was, his name was Stephen McCullough. And at the age of 23, he did a Kickstarter campaign and got $29,000 together to go to hunt live dinosaurs in the Congo. And when he got there, all his paperwork wasn't in order and his gear got stolen. And then he went back to America. A few months later, he did another Kickstarter campaign on another thing, a game. He's trying to raise $150,000 for a game that when you won, you would get paid real gold. Yeah. And the next thing, he was flying around in another Learjet, very similar to Chris's one probably, looking for land to buy because he's going to start up his own country. Yes, I'm not kidding you. And the country was called the United Allied States of America. He had set up a website. He had Congress. He had transport ministers, employment ministers, and everyone in there was either family or people in his office who were running scams, pump and dump crypto scams. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those people we reached out to and said, your photo's here. They said, I don't know anything about this. He'd just stolen people's identities. And then it went on and on and on from scam to scam to scam to scam. So when I got my cease and desist letter, I did a 4-hour, 47-minute, 19-second long video in reply to his lawyers and said, what planet are you on representing someone like that? Ironically, one of the partners in the law firm, I knew him because I used to own a business networking company. I used to advise small businesses and get them together and help them work together to help each other. One of those guys used to come along to my meetings, and he was the partner of this law firm that was now suing me for $3.8 million with their client from America. He was at a conference, and it was a scam conference. People were trying to get, Australians have come over and they were trying to scam some Kiwis. And I saw him in the audience, and I was there with a few of my mates, and we were doing an investigation. And I'm texting this lawyer who's a partner in this big lawsuit saying, don't you invest in this. This is 100% scam. Oh, I think I know better. And he invested in it. The next day, it was in the papers that these Australians come over and they'd ran the scam and taken off with everyone's money. So part of my argument was that is if your own partner in your own company can't spot a scam, how can you represent a scammer? It was ironic. Anyway, 3 months later, they filed a discontinuance. And I'm used to dealing with these guys. And it's my opinion against their opinion. But we always try to gather the right intel. And Christopher's running a Ponzi scheme, and I'll be the guy to put my hand up. I'll be the guy throwing himself in front of the bus saying, I will take the lawsuit on if it happens. But we have covered our tracks, and we've got a very good argument going. And the argument going at the moment is that they don't have a leg to stand on because they won't provide us the information that we're looking for. And it's just ridiculous. So if we go and search for Chris, if you go to my website and search for Chris Diego, you will see that we've now published 7 blogs about him. And we're going to go through them and just have a quick look so we can sort of have a bit of a summary of what they're about, because they are actually quite breathtaking. I'll just get rid of our financial guy. Oh, over there. I don't know who he is. Anyone know who he is? So we go here. The first one was the House of Cards. And in here, we actually had a look at their own sword, so to speak, joint venture agreement. And they were basically saying this is the claims that this statement says.
This agreement is not an investment product, investment offering, investment advice, or a security in any way whatsoever.
So they're contradicting what the joint venture agreement was by saying that it's not an investment product, an investment offering, or a security in any way whatsoever. That's in their contract, even though they're asking people to invest. That's weird, isn't it?
Partner shall contribute not less than $100,000 USD, 3% on contributions, between $100,000 and $499,000, 4% for any contributions over $500,000. Goliath hereby guarantees the return of principal. This guarantee is absolute and binding.
So we have heard of people putting $5 million in. I've heard quite a few people putting $100,000 in. I've heard of people about to put $1 million in and we stopped them. And also another person was going to put $750,000 and we also, they started doing an investigation on their own. And just use Sanjay as an example here. He claims that he's only put $100,000 in and he's only received 4 months worth of dividends. So that's $3,000 a month. So he's made $12,000 out of his $100,000 investment. And he's also confirmed to us that he's now asked Chris to give back the principal. Is that okay to do that? Well, let's have a listen.
Goliath may delay withdrawals for up to 90 days due to suspicious activity, system hacks, or exchange delays. Upon termination, the partner shall no longer have the right to receive any profits or rewards. Goliath makes no representations, warranties, or guarantees as to the success of any venture and a partner's right to receive any profits.
Yeah, so basically what they encourage you to do is leave your money on the platform. In fact, they have been previously with other companies called Black Block and also Wealth Management Doctors. They have basically had their contract word for word, other than saying that the minimum investment is $250,000 and the monthly payment is 2%. It seemed like they were offering the same offering that Goliath was offering and scooping off profits along the way, but that's a different matter. But what I'm getting at is the contracts were exactly the same, and you're sort of bounded. But there's nothing in the contract. We'll go down, we'll look at the other blogs. But basically, if you want your money out, there was no reason why you couldn't say it right today. What you need to do is email the certain people, the what do they call, the accounting company, part of the company, and ask them for your money back. And obviously, that's when you will get no more return on your investment. You'll be out. But whether you get that principal back, Chris also says that principal is covered, so don't worry. So if you trust Chris, you've got no problems getting your money back, and that's what we were doing yesterday. Okay, so we're in here. We've got we had articles that Chris was quoting like he was interviewed, but they were all the articles that we could see, and this is just my opinion, but they were all paid for, sponsored adverts, and we can actually watch Chris at the moment literally going to all these big people and sponsoring them and getting his name out there, basically getting in bed with everyone that might one day question if he's authentic or not. So I'm saying, me personally, is actually saying that this is a Ponzi scheme. We've asked the questions. We've asked him for a right of reply, and we still haven't got that. We finished up writing a letter to Matt Burke, who was an independent auditor, which just so happened to be on 3 companies that they were using to promote Goliath, which is crazy. Anyway, in here, that was the first blog. The second one was show us the receipts. So once again, we did a video, but we really wanted to, we actually went through and looked at the February training video. This was a secret video only out for the lead. Well, they renamed everyone. I thought they were called like the leaders or the people that were promoting it. And then at the event, they told everyone they're now called directors, encouraged everyone to set up their own entities, their own LLC companies. They said that all the money would be handled by Goliath. They said to make sure you use the right terminology. They gave instructions to the directors how to avoid the elderly abuse. They were giving them instructions on, they were encouraging them to go after the money that you would get for the retirement funds, because they know that if you've got retirement money in a investment portfolio, to move that out of that retirement fund normally costs money. So they were claiming that they weren't certified. They were claiming they were going to be certified. And when they did, they would enable people to put their money in their investment, put their money in Goliath's investment portfolios, for example. So all this information I'm talking about, I'm a bit tired. I could be saying things wrong. So you need to do your own investigation, but we have put this information into blogs of what we listened to, what they said, and then we've tried to interpret it. It's not like the Bible. It's pretty straightforward because they didn't mince their words. But the point is, in this video, you can actually go in here and you can see about halfway in, you'll see them here. So since then, we've got Perry's Curry, who's now left the company, formed his own LLC company, and also seems to be targeting the elderly. just like they were originally. It's like he got that portion of the company given to him and he's gone off and done that. But since then, he's jumped up to another company, again, that does financial blah, blah, blah stuff. And we've wrote to everybody in that company, and we've heard that he's since, well, not because of what we wrote, but he'd already left that company. And anything to do with Ponzi schemes and when you're in the financial world, it's real bad. But anyway, we're still trying to find out. We're still putting things together. And it's a sort of been quite exciting unraveling all this, but it's actually not that hard to provide the evidence of what they're actually doing wrong. See, that annoys me there. I'm just going to go edit that video right there. So that's Project Shield protecting my website. And now I'll be able to edit that. And I'll scoot down here and I'm just going to find that one word that was annoying me. Dissolved. No, where has it gone? It should have been bolded. It's always good. But there's lots of information in here. And also we went and got the information officially. Oh, no, that's right. So we went and got the official, what the IRS says about what is and what isn't a security and what services you're providing. And because in this video, and I'm just going to go on it for a bit more, but when we were watching this video, they were telling their people to not say this and say this. But when you go and look at the IRS filing, which we've put in here, so what does the IRS actually say what a security is and what a security isn't, is very black and white. You can't dispute this. You can't twist this. And what they were doing and what they've done, because they've already taken funds already. And in this video, it was just so condemning. So if you are sitting here and you're thinking, is my investment safe? Please don't, you won't find this video because they've removed it since. Now, if this company was doing legitimate things, why would they be removing content off the internet? Why would they be putting disclaimers on things that they've already published? Yeah, they're going back and editing their own information. On LinkedIn, you watch them, they're editing their information and putting disclaimers on it. It's not going to protect them now because you've got things like archive.org. So that was quite an eye-opener. The next one was when we investigated a bit more, we can only use their own words, but we're sort of saying, well, hey guys, going by what you're claiming, 1,500 clients, and you've given away in 2024 $100 million worth of, what do they call it when the profit to people who have invested with them. So we're only guesstimating, but if you gave away 100 million last year, and this has grown like wildfire, then in 2025, it would be a pretty conservative guesstimate to say that it's $150 million, scam. I don't know what it is. We have no idea, but I don't know. This could be gazillions. We did hear about one person that put $9 million in and actually got their money out. Why would they get their money out? And then we've heard of other people that have put 5 million in, and we've heard of other quite famous people putting hundreds of thousands of dollars, well, a lot of money, but we can't confirm it until people come forward to us, and no one's going to cry foul until they can't get their money out. So Chris at the moment, we're telling everyone to pull your money out because it's safe. He's got the money there, so he says. And if you get your money out and the big investors get their money out, then you will see probably Chris coming up with some creative ways to keep the money in. For example, he might offer you more dividends, but there's no proof of any incomes. There's no proof. There's no one has audited their books. He claims he's done an independent audit by a guy, Matt Burke, who's overlapping into 3 companies. It's not independent. So if he's going to do something independent, name the company that's going to be doing the research, or the audit, I should say, and let us know. So this was the LinkedIn post that he put out there. Then they wrote basically a warning letter or a response to my claims, which is very nice. And you can read all that there. We've also people's names that are on my radar. We've got a list of people here. And we've started putting a disclaimer with ourselves because some of these people go, oh, I'm not connected. Now, Sanjay is a good example. He's telling us that he goes, I hardly know Chris. But now we've got Chris on a video basically saying that they work together and they do a lot of business together. Now, Sanjay says he's invested less than $500,000. He won't tell me how much. He's basically saying he doesn't know Chris. He hasn't promoted this to anybody. I mean, if you've signed up for a contract with Goliath Ventures and Sanjay has been the man, we would like to know. we will keep you anonymous. We're not out here to hurt anything. Like, these are just people. Even these people here are just names of people on our radar. They're not guilty parties or anything like that. You know what I mean? You're going to bed, are you? Yeah, so thank you very much. I haven't been scrolling through the messages because of the funny guy in there. So that was where we got to. Then this one here, this is when we got, I think this is going to be blog number 4. And this is where I said to ChatGPT, please create me a picture of me screwing down the coffin because he's putting his last nail in the coffins. So if we can pause that somewhere, well, we can. So this photo here was really interesting. We've now named everybody except the guy with the back of his head here. We don't know who that is. So what we did is we went through all these people's social media who have never probably been on a jet before, and we tried to get the photos outside the plane, but we still haven't figured out who that guy is. So if you know who that guy there with the back of the head is, please do anonymously give it to us via our website. The link's in the chat room. That would be great. But funny enough, this cat lady here, we've wrote to her and asked her for some information because she's actually Diego's ex-girlfriend. And it didn't end nicely. So we thought she'll be a great person for some intel. But just saying that, so, and as you can see, even I've dressed up for the occasion. Here I am dressed up as the pilot. So you never know who's watching or you never know who's whistleblowing. That's the truth of the matter. So I'll just get rid of that. So in this one, we discussed, what did we discuss? We discussed how this company was registered in Florida. And we found on the 3rd of December, sorry, the 3rd of September, that they had shut down Goliath Ventures, Inc. in Florida. And we thought, how can a company who's paid out $100,000 worth of dividends just close their doors? And we thought, wow, they've crashed. So when we put this video out, we basically, I said to everybody, the company's gone under. Well, technically it had, because the company had been shut down. But what we found out while I was doing this live is they reopened the company in a different state. Now, why? Which means that they would theoretically have to let and notify all the investors, which they claim is 1,500 people. Why would they have to shut down one company and open up and when they said they opened it up, I didn't even want to hear because I knew it would be Wyoming. Because all the scams that I basically go after that are based in America all seem to think that if they open a company up in Wyoming, that gives them credibility. To me, it is very poor. So technically speaking, then we got a cease and desist letter later on, and it was stating Florida law. So we had a field day with that, and we have had a very prominent lawyer look at our cease and desist letter, and he said it's quite embarrassing. So, we've got a lot of support. That's what I'm insinuating there. So don't read between the lines. I'm just telling you that's exactly what we have. We have a large team of people who've invested a lot of time and energy exposing this company. And tell you what, this is the one that I've been fighting this battle with my less than 10 Avengers and a lot of other people, but there's 10 main Avengers who help me with information, but we've managed to build out our Avenger team list in this investigation because so many people just don't want to see good people, and a lot of the people that invested in this are very good people. And the plastic surgeon guy, I think most people know what I mean when I say that. But these aren't bad people. They've been sold a story. So we want to help you. We want you guys to question and ask, let's see the books. I think you need to demand questions out there. You need to say to Chris, look, you're a high flyer. You've got all this wealth that you never had 3 years ago. You're flying around in Learjets. You're going to, we were shown his girlfriend's Instagram the other day. And unfortunately, they're just partying up all the time. And, is this the way you want a company director to act? So why not take your money out, make sure you're safe so you don't get hurt? Chris says the money's there, it's not a problem. But anyway, so we looked at some of the real estate they've been purchasing, and we've made corrections along the way. I mean, a lot of this information that we put out here is not because we have got 100% knowledge, but a lot of it's fishing for a bit of more information. And we have actually found out that he has purchased 3 houses, and there is mortgages on, if not all of them, some of them. And also now we had correspondence from people, confirming a lot of the stuff that we've been, sort of, I don't want to say speculating, but it's not, we're not speculating, but it is when people back up what you think that makes sense, then we think, oh, we've got 3 people who said the same thing. I was speaking to a race driver, and they give us information, and it's just like, oh yeah, we already knew that, but thank you. It adds clout to what we are thinking, and then we can spend our time and energy going down that rabbit hole. I mean, it was quite funny today because Homeland Security came back to us and asked us for Chris's birthday, 18th of September. He's 5 days' time, or maybe 6 days' time. He was born in 1991, but it was quite funny to be asked that question. I thought they would know everything, but his name's quite common, so they want to make sure they got the right person. Okay, so as I said here, so after Chris shut down his company, then we found out that Nadia, the bookkeeper, had also shut down her company a day before. Both those companies have now been reopened in Wyoming. So we thought, and this is why I started that ramble about not sure, that maybe what they were doing is they were trying to hide the bookkeeping. By shutting down the bookkeeper, maybe that's what they thought would keep the bookkeepers away. So in a circle, so we've got some quotes here. These are actually quotes of things that we've got. I'm not going to read them all. I'm just giving you a little bit of an explanation on them. So then we thought we would show some of the names that we have been investigating in here. We did a person of interest file, just like a proper investigation. Just because we've got somebody's name in the person of interest doesn't mean they're guilty or of anything, or even if they're aware of anything. So we want to hear, but we've reached out to a few people, asked them if they want to be a whistleblower to protect themselves, and they've ghosted us. So now it's sort of like, right, the gloves are off, let's get into this. So we've got, what have we got? We got a 10-page cease and desist letter, which was jokeable. And then we go to town when we get those cease and desist letters, because that's a good opportunity for us to actually say, well, let's go back to the lawyers who thought it was a good idea to represent Chris, and let's give them some hardcore facts. So we went through here and we made public. Within 2 hours, we'd written a right of reply. Well, we'd written a reply to the cease and desist letter, and also outlined the reasons. Sorry, that's no good. Hold it. We've also outlined the reasons to the lawyers, which were based in Florida, which you should have been using a New Zealand lawyer. And we also asked for some answers to some of the following, which I think is
What
quite
specific
fair.
regulatory licenses or exemptions permit Goliath Ventures and Mr. Delgado to solicit and pool investor funds?
Yeah, so he's an unlicensed person offering securities, which is just a big no-no. How simple of a question is that? So we're asking their lawyer the embarrassing question, why are you representing someone who's committing fraud? It's not a scam. This is fraud. So we've got cricket so far.
What independent, third-party audits substantiate that investor returns are funded by lawful, revenue-generating activity and not by new investor deposits?
Yeah. So we just want, why wouldn't you have third-party audits when you're dealing with millions of dollars of people's money?
Why is your firm taking instructions to defend a client facing such serious allegations instead of advising them to provide transparency to investors and regulators? At least advise them to follow the law and wind down operations.
Yeah.
Are you aware of Chris Delgado's involvement in an earlier crypto Ponzi scam that blew up called My Liquidity Partner?
Yeah, and we're still investigating that, and we will have more content coming out soon.
What jurisdiction does Florida court have given that Goliath Ventures Incorporated has been dissolved in Florida and moved to Wyoming? Also given the fact that I am based in New Zealand.
What does Sarah? Oh, I can't even say it. What does RCMP stand for? Maybe you mentioned. You referred. What does RCMP stand for?
Maybe mention that you've referred Jay Newton from Ontario to the RCMP, 45 meters. N. Maybe mention that you've referred.
Oh, I don't know. Don't know what RCMP. That's a good question. Thank you for that. Yeah. Eek, my liquidity partners. Hey, Queen Akama, you're up late. Nice to see you here. So, as you can see, we've done a pretty extensive campaign, and we get hecklers in here, which is really funny, having a personal attack at me. Why would you have they're not here now, but they were here before. It just amazes me. Yeah, I pull these scams out all the time. Did I publish that? No, I didn't. Why has that one come up twice? Pull your money out while you can. Oh, 1 minute, please, caller. Oh, no, I've got that twice. I don't know why people go after me personally when it's got nothing to do with the message I'm delivering. But that's the only thing they've got on me, which is really weird. So yesterday we did a pretty extensive one, and I was pretty tired, to be honest, and I should have perhaps laid off this one till today, and I'm still pretty tired, making excuses for my behaviour. But in here, this was actually a really important video, and the video was basically telling people to get your money out. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it, ladies and gentlemen? Just take your money out. I mean, here they tell you they have a balance of 115% of investors' funds. This is the letter that they gave me. So if you go to, oh my goodness, did I take that out? Oh no, there it is, independent audit. So this is an independent audit. We don't believe it's done by a proper auditing company. In fact, it was done by Matt Burke, who's got his fingers in 3 of the pies of the company. So in here, you can go through here and you can read this document yourself, but you will see here, Goliath maintained an average collected balance of 115 or more of partners' balances at all times during this period. So this independent report was totally bullshit. I mean, regardless of what you actually said to me, the Royal Canadian Policeman, oh, I see what thing, oh, brilliant. So, oh, well done. So we just need to confirm a few things, but somebody has actually reported Jay Newton to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. If I say that right, Mounted Police. So, yeah, so we are actively reporting. We're still waiting for a reply from the Indian Chamber of Commerce, who have Goliath Ventures Inc. advertised on the homepage of their website as their preferred. I don't know what, some sort of like, I don't know, saying they're sponsoring them or something, but they've been promoting it to their community. Haven't heard back from them. Obviously, we've got Homeland Security involved, and also Queen Akama. You live in Canada, so somebody has actually reported him. So now we're going to do a deep dive into whatever his name is. We're going to do a deep dive into Jay Newton, who's a financial advisor in Canada. And if he is a regulated financial advisor, and he's been promoting this this investment opportunity that isn't actually registered, then there's going to be some big questions asked, isn't there? So we had what we call JN in the chat room, and he was heckling at us, and just like this other one that's been silenced by Susie, thank you very much. You know, justice coming faster than you think. Scammer, soulless thief. What's that mean? Justice is coming faster than you think, and your greed will be your curse. Your deception will be your downfall. I don't know, that sounds a bit biblical to me. Who's that? I don't know. Anyone know who that is? I don't know. That's some comment. I don't know if that's in favour of us. I didn't quite read that right, but I'm always curious. So we have a look, see what it is. Courtney. Let's see. Let's have a look. Courtney, subscribed? No, just kidding. Unsubscribe. Let's go back. Unsubscribe. More. Let's read more. Oh, so this is the people that come in here. So this is a good example, isn't it? So Courtney Brooks decides that they will get on YouTube, and on the 13th of September 2025 they joined, and then they come in here and post comments like they have some authority. They don't even want to. If you look, I'm Danny DeHeck, and I'm a New Zealander, and I put my name, my reputation, my everything into exposing these scammers. What the hell do you do, Courtney Brooks? What do you do? Like, who are you? What difference do you make on the planet? I mean, you come in here, I presume that was a heckler. and you've said something which is going across the screen. It says, scammer, soulless thief. What does that mean? Justice is coming faster than you think, whatever that means. And your greed will be your curse, your deception downfall. And you've just decided to create a brand new account today. And it just amazes me. I don't even get the point of your existence. It's just ridiculous. So that's quite cool. So what I'm saying is, so this independent audit here basically said, hey guys, we've got enough funds to refund you. So yesterday's video was all about go and get your money back. Here, Pixel, come here, mate. Dog barking. Regardless, so then we re-quoted what they told us. They were basically, once again, we've been told in this, what we got told is, lose my train of thought because of that. What we got told to investors newsletter, they had 115% balance to pay back everybody. Then they sent us a 4-page documents in response to it, and they reiterated the fact that they still claim they have 115% balance to pay back everyone. So it's all, so if you want to withdraw your funds, you can get 100% of your principal back. It's guaranteed. You just need to email the agreement to that email address there, and then you'll be able to get that money back, which is fantastic. What else have we got? So why if funds withdraw, and if you are receiving cease and desist letters, I'm pretty sure we found out where they're coming from, and I'm going to show you that because there is a lawyer, that one there.
Partway through, I decided.
So I'm not sure if this is the lawyer that's representing it. This is a criminal lawyer, Eric Clayman. And in here, you can actually, if you want the link, I'll just, so this was a podcast that he was in. But this guy's a criminal defense attorney. He delivers babies as well. But go check him out. I think we received a message from him. I actually sent him a text this morning, and I said, what did I read in the text? I'll tell you what I put out there. Just a tip. Chris Diego from Goliath Ventures, Inc. may need some representation soon. He was born on the 18th of September, 1991. Here's his phone number, and I gave him his phone number. Say good day from the heck. So this is the guy, but we're saying that because if you're receiving any correspondence from anyone at Eric at globalventuresinc.com, we are joining the dots a little bit here and taking a bit of a stab in the dark, but we do believe this is the guy that you'll be talking to. So I'm just saying that's interesting. So I haven't listened to that podcast. I don't really know what the podcast's about, but it was 2 years ago. And look, they got 372 views in 2 years. So he's very cool. So I'm interested. So I wonder if we search for him, I wonder if we find his practice. We'll just do this. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who he's connected to. But he's, let's see. Eric, that might be it. He's got 36 subscribers. And he's got a few videos. He's got 19 videos. We might as well have a listen to one. A year ago, he posted this. Let's have a listen.
If you get pulled over and you know that you're potentially impaired or that you were just drinking, this is exactly what you need to do to be able to beat your DUI. Stay in your car. When the officer asks you for your license, registration, proof of insurance, comply and give it to them. Say as little as possible. The more that you speak, the more that they're going to be able to argue that you have slurred speech, your speech pattern sounds off, you're obviously always going to have a flushed face, and you're always going to have bloodshot eyes. It's in every single report that a DUI investigator ever puts out. You're going to say as little as possible, and you're going to be polite. When they ask you, number one, will you comply with doing SFSTs, which are the standard field sobriety exercises, you're going to politely decline, which you have every right to do. The next thing that you're going to do when they ask you to give a breath sample, you're going to just say no. Do absolutely nothing. If you don't do SFSTs and if you don't submit to a breath test, you are giving law enforcement absolutely zero technical evidence, data, anything that they can actually use against you, parade around in a courtroom, put on a video. They won't have any of that. At that point, it's just going to be the officer's word against yours. They've never met you. They don't know you. 99 out of 100 times, that will be a not guilty.
Wow. So let me get this right. So let's pretend you're Chris, and let's pretend that you're driving and you've accidentally drunk like a fish, got yourself absolutely drunk as a skunk, and you get pulled up by a policeman. And just before the policeman knocks on your window, you search the internet for Eric Clayton Law, and you find that video, and you realize that if you want to evade the law, you just want to make sure that you give them all your details, don't look at them, and just keep it to the minimum. And that will protect you from being a drunk driver. And you'll probably get away from being prosecuted because you've failed to give them a blood test. You've made the policeman's life hell because you haven't let him do anything. Oh, well, that's really good. Well, that's the type of lawyer that is theory. I don't know if it is, I could be making this up, but he could be the guy that's representing Goliath. So make sure you have your facts right. Actually, I do know, I'm pretty sure I've got my facts right, but hey, no law against me telling you who his lawyers are, and no law against getting it wrong if I am wrong. But we just fish out stuff like that all day long. That's what me and my Avengers do. I'm kind of curious what other things we could learn. Wonder if there's some advice here for if you're running a Ponzi scheme. Do your best deal. Oh, no, there's another tip. Here we go.
Tip number 2 for dealing with a DUI is if they ask you to provide a breath sample or a urine sample or a blood sample, 100% refuse.
Oh, so there you go. So if you want to evade the law, well, if you want to, because these guys enforce they fight the law, don't they? That's a hard case. All right, guys, I think we're doing all right. I'm just going to check another couple of messages in case there's something else out there. We've got business. Oh, what's this one here? Wonder what day this was. Oh, dear. So we're looking for information. Oh my goodness, I got some awesome Avengers. Thank you so much, guys. Look, this is my website. It's not rocket science. Go to the contact us page. My website was down for about 8 hours last night. It was because I clicked the wrong button or did the wrong thing. But I got it going myself with the help of ChatGPT. Oh my God, you should have seen me working that out. That was quite fun. Full name if you want, email if you want, username so I can message you on WhatsApp if you want. Look, set up a free Gmail account. If you're going to correspond with me, I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know who you are. There's other sites, things that you can use. Like if you go to a site called Transcript, it's called YouTube. No, it's not Transcript. Wrong one. That's where I get the thingies. Transcript. We go to Retract. Okay, so you can go to a thing called smallpdf.com, and there's a link on there somewhere that will go Retract, and you can chuck your PDFs in there, and you can retract all the names out of it really simple. I'm going to do one just to show you. Have I got a opportunity? Let's have a look. What's that one there? Who's that to? Can't use that one. Oh, yep, this is some public information. So you chuck in your PDF in here, and you can basically, anything that you don't want the public to see, you can just literally, you can say, well, let's get rid of this photo, and you just put it over there like that. And then you come down here and you go, oh, I don't want people to see his activity. And that's what you call retract. So it's a really, really, really good service. And then what you do, you click download and you'll get another version of your PDF, and you don't have to have Adobe. It's really, really cool. I use it quite a lot, actually. Look at that. Look, you can make the whole, in case you really want to, you just make the whole lot black. And then you don't have to, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's all these black bits like that. The next minute, there you go. Now that's like a government one now. So that's what you can send me if you want, a retracted PDF. Yeah. And for the person that decided to send us the PDF, the forged one, don't send us shit like that. We're not stupid. Just in case you're listening, because I know you're listening, because we get some stupid emails in sometimes. It's just ridiculous. But it's a bit of a laugh, But there you go. So there we go. So that could be Eric Clayton Law. If you do receive any cease and desist letters or any legal correspondence from a defense lawyer, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you don't want a defense lawyer sending out your cease and desist letters. Just saying. Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, so there you go. I think we're done. Did we cover anything? I think we got it all. I think we did pretty cool. Obviously, the purpose of this video was just to say, just go over that video so I didn't have to watch it alone. It's pretty simple, really. So what is it about money these days? And, why does Chris so much want to, I'll click the wrong button now. Why does Chris want to be so rich? Like, is he striving for his happiness? Is that what he's trying to do? Is he not a happy fella? In the video there, he was claiming about how he's a family man. Some people I know just found out a week and a half ago that he wasn't married. His ex-wife he's traveling around with some 24-year-old bimbo. Well, we know her name. And we've also been in correspondence with his previous girlfriend. And now we're on videos claiming that he's a family man and has to fly to see his kids. How does that work? And then he talks about, like, it seems like he's insinuating he's still married. But we've got, in one of our previous blogs, we posted all the divorce settlement, and he's also bought his wife a house by the sounds of it, which has got a mortgage on it, just saying. Well, we think it has. Well, we can't be certain of everything. We're always trying to do our own due diligence. You do your own due diligence as well. But long story short, what I'm trying to say is there's so much contradictions in here. If you're an investor, reach out to us. Tell us you're an investor, because we want to build a database so that when the receivers go in there, you can get some of your money back. Yep, we hope so. We'd like to see the bank accounts, Chris. Prove that you've got the money, because we don't think you have. See you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your support. Have a great night.